We know about at least 30 people detained in the center of Moscow. This is the confirmed figures by Info, but heard about the hundreds of people detained and arrested in Moscow and other cities. These are the also major protests taking place right away, right now, not just in the Russian capital. One of the demands of the protesters is an investigation into Prime Minister Dmitry Medvedev alleged involvement in corruption schemes. Police have detained participants, including Alexei Navalny, who is a politician, opposition politician, and we know that we'll discuss this situation, of course, because we didn't expect, Ilya, what we know, we didn't expect yesterday still that there would be protests all over the country and they would last that long.
You see, I told you that Maidan in Russia is possible, and you never believe me.
Do you compare that with, I mean, really, how do you, you know, you're following from Kyiv, but still.
It's just the beginning. We have a huge country. The protests were in 100 cities, which I especially glad that the biggest protest was not in Moscow. It was in St. Pete. And they were literally everywhere. That means that it's no longer Bolotnaya Square, that the country is not sleeping. The country is just waiting for the proper slogan, the proper idea to unite around. And of course, corruption is one of such potential ideas.
But look, as we followed before, you know, the people would be detained, some of them would be in custody, some would be freed. But what next? What is the, I don't know, the logic and the tactic of the Russian opposition, of people like you?
I think that to change the situation at the end of the day, you need an organized political force. It's a systematic fight. It's not a one-time job. And right now, I take these protests as an indicator that the passion is there, that the desire of people for the change is there. They are not happy with the way they're living. But so far, they just haven't found this idea, this organization. And I really hope that Alexei Navalny, who is doing it for his presidential campaign, would not just use it for presidential campaign and stop it there.
Do you think about any kind of a cooperation? Because always the weakest point of the opposition in Ukraine, in Belarus or in Russia, that it's not united and then it's fragmented, and that's what the regime always uses.
I totally agree. It's the biggest problem, and in Russia especially. But the problem of this disunity of the opposition is the lack of unifying idea. That's why I'm talking about this. People should not around leaders, but around ideas. And as soon as this idea would emerge, the whole situation in the country would change overnight.
This is a question of the people and of the Kremlin, that what is this idea? The idea to get rid of us and, you know, substitute with another people, that's not it's kind of a destructive idea, and that's why some people don't support.
And I agree here, because, you know, I don't understand how the power led by, say, Navalny would be better than power that is led by Putin. I don't see much of a difference between their slogans. And just the idea of renovation, that's something that people in the remote Russian places totally reject, because they don't want to wind up in the situation like in the 90s. And that's why the example of Ukraine is so important for Russians, because they say, okay, so you changed one with another, and what's the difference? It's the situation is changing only for worse and not for the better. People want to have guarantees that we will have a different society after the change, after the revolution. And that's why they are asking for an idea. And I guarantee that in the very near future, maybe a year from now, this idea will emerge. And then the situation will start to change.
And shortly, we also know that the state Russian TV channels didn't show anything of the protest. There were some series or the documentaries on the major Russian...
Nobody have come as we joke, yeah.
But really, for the situation to follow up. So what would be the, you know, the signs of you? What would be the things you will follow next week in Russia? You know, you're here, you're taking care, you're worried about your country. So what would be the signs to look if this particular protest would develop into something bigger?
I will connect to my friends in Russian regions. I don't believe that right now Moscow is the main revolutionary force. despite that it's the most liberal place probably in the country. I will track the situation in my home city of Novosibirsk, which I think is probably the opposition capital of Russia right now, and in the city of Yekaterinburg, where, as I heard, there was the largest rally among all Russian regions besides Moscow and St. Pete.
Okay, Ilya, thanks a lot for elaborating also on that, and we'll have a closer look, and we'll be back in a second.